Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Grace, and today we're going to talk about day 2 of making gains week 1. So day 2 is still a continuation of your testing your initial strength, seeing where you're at, kind of pushing the limits a little bit. The exercises that I'm going to cover and making sure that you know what proper form looks like are going to be deadlift, a bent over row, and a shoulder press. So those exercises, it's a lot to do all in one day. So I encourage you to take plenty of rest in between exercises and challenging yourself, but also within challenging yourself in that exercise between sets. Rest is going to be key to making sure that you get an accurate or as close to accurate test for your initial strength as possible. So the first exercise I'm going to demonstrate is a dumbbell deadlift, or what a lot of people call like an RDL, a Romanian deadlift. So this is a little different from a barbell deadlift in the sense that you're not picking it up off of the ground, but instead you're starting standing and bending over with the weight as opposed to getting it from down below. Either way, targeting your hamstrings, your glutes, your back a little bit is definitely involved. So with these weights here, I just grabbed some 30s. Think about starting out with your weights as kind of just pretty easy for you. And you want to make sure that you have room to challenge yourself. So again, reiterating that 2 to 3 warm-up set, just pretty easy, moving through the motions, 7 to 10 reps. And then you start getting into challenging yourself a little bit, increasing by 5 pounds, 10 pounds, depending on how you're feeling. So with the deadlift, using dumbbells, you want to think about a couple things. Of course, your legs, the back of your legs are working, but also think about trying to kind of engage your lats a little bit. Think about kind of squeezing back a little bit, but also just kind of creating some tension back there in your upper and mid back area to engage your lats. And then nice strong grip. Try to get your fingers all the way around the dumbbells as you lower and keep the weights nice and close to your body, engaging your lats to help you hold the weights, and then going to just about the middle of your shins, coming back up, and using your glutes and your hamstrings to help you stand back up. Notice my back stays flat throughout the movement, and I'm not rounding and letting it pull me forward, okay? So a couple of movements here just to kind of show you what it should look like. Again, this is an RDL, Romanian deadlift. And if all you have available to you is dumbbells, that's a great place to start for doing a deadlift. The next one I'm going to show you is going to actually just be the shoulder press. So overhead shoulder press, pressing up. There's a couple different ways to do this. And for the Making Gains program, you want to think about what's the ultimate goal. You're testing your strength. And doing a shoulder press, especially for maybe females, going wide here is going to be a little bit harder. So if you want to see where you're strong at, go where you're stronger. So a neutral grip positioning with your arms, making sure that even if you need to, you can kind of stagger your feet a little bit, and then pressing up. Definitely main mover is the shoulder, your deltoid, but there's definitely some supplemental things that help, like your triceps and the back of your arms, even some of those postural muscles in your back, and definitely your core. So think about engaging your core as you press. And remember, as you get heavier with your weights, it's going to be real easy to want to like arch your back, push your chest up, and lose form. But you want to think about tucking your hips down and engaging your glutes and engaging your core. Nice strong and through your core. And then if you need to, you can take a step back. Straight up, not out to the side, not in front of you. So that's your shoulder press. And then your next exercise is going to be the bent over row. And I like to actually put it, if you're doing day 2, do your deadlifts first, then do your shoulder press rather, and then move on to the bent over row. Because the bent over row is going to be definitely a similar position to the deadlift, except now you're just kind of holding it here. And you might be tired in this position without any weights in your hands. So you want to make sure that you give yourself a little bit of love in between doing that, and just stick in the shoulder press before you do the bent over row. And with the bent over row, a couple things need to happen in order to even pull that weight. You need to be strong right here. So try to really make sure that you engage and keep your stomach muscles engaged, and don't forget about them. They're really helping you hold yourself in this position before you even put any weights in your hands. And then just like the deadlift, my back doesn't hunch forward. So I keep my shoulders back and I make sure that I have a nice flat back as I pull. And sometimes if you get heavy, you lose that bent over position. So as you get heavier, you do want to try to remain in that forward bend and don't creep up and do your row that way. So with some weights in my hands, you want to just make sure that you start in a nice strong position with your core, keep it engaged, and then lower yourself into this bent position, pulling in at your sides, and try to get your elbows back as far as you can, dumbbells into your armpits. And the whole time I'm really flexing and engaging my core. A couple things to note though, as you pull those weights, just like the shoulder press, if you have your elbows wide and you're further away from your body, it's going to be harder in general. Some people might not notice a difference depending on where you're starting or how long it's been since you've exercised. A lot of things play into whether or not something feels hard. If you notice a difference, bring your elbows in and make sure that you pull in. That's where you're strongest at, especially for people who are kind of like that beginner level. Pull in, keep your elbows tight to your sides as opposed to going wide, okay? So if you have any questions, definitely comment. Let us know what you're thinking. Good luck.